Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. And we are here today to start all over again with Ready to Love, Season 5, Episode 1, Quality Over Quantity. Let's get to it. Before we get started, I just want to say welcome to my new subbies. Welcome. Welcome to the beautiful people family. It is so lovely to have you. Also, you guys, from what I am learning after watching all these different interviews, and yes, I am watching them, all these different lives and everything with the cast that just ended, Sydney, Sabrina, Aisha, all of them, it was a whole lot happening behind the scenes that we weren't seeing. And I feel like they need to get it together because the show wasn't that good. So if all this shit is happening behind the scenes, that's way more interesting than what y'all showing us. Ready to Love people, y'all need to get on your jobs and tell these people. And I think they did tell them don't hang out. Well, I don't know if they said don't hang out in a group, but I do know they said don't go on dates outside of the show or whatever. But apparently they were hanging out, they were partying, doing different things, and drama was happening that we weren't privy to. And that's why a lot of this stuff seemed so disjointed. Like it just did. It was like, where did all this fire come from Zadia all of a sudden to all the women, and we didn't know anything about the party that, you know, Sydney was giving the lap dance, and not Cornelius, Crazy Camille sent her pit bull as they called her after Sydney or what. Like, we didn't see any of that. They didn't tell us any of that on the show. We just come back to an episode where Zadia is snapping off. Listen, use my name. My name is Zadia. You need to try it. And we like, wait, what's happening here? But anyway, let's get into the new one. Lord, y'all. And I'm sorry, starting off, we're not going to have like individual pictures because they don't really do that until, shoot, almost the end of the season. So I'll just use a whole picture. But we start off with Paul. He's 48. That's really mature. Would he be the oldest one that's been on here so far? Or do we have somebody in their 50s? I don't know. But anyway, Paul, he says he needs sexual energy. Like, that is very important to him. And I'm like, what is going on with all these horn dogs they're getting? Walter, Frank, like all of them was talking about how ain't nothing wrong with it and ain't nothing wrong with liking it. But the way he made it sound like it's got to be sexual energy. Okay, Mr. Ready to Love. Oh, okay, I jumped the gun. He said he also needs somebody with substance because ultimately he wants to be with somebody forever. And he's not bad looking. He's bald, with a really black beard. Next we meet Dakia, I think that's her name. She's the one there in the yellow dress, pretty girl. She said that I think she's 38 or 39. She says she's vaxxed and waxed, which is the same thing Tasia said at the reunion. So what's going on, Potomac and the DMV area? Is that the new thing? Like, vaxxed and waxed? I don't like it. I don't like it. Pretty girl, though. All right, next we meet Tiffany, and she has on a black dress. She starts off by saying she likes to touch and be touched. That's her introduction. That's the way she starts. And she says, so if that don't tell you what type of party it is, and I'm like, that tells us all all we needs to know, ma'am. That tells us everything we need to know about you is that you like to touch and be touched. You start off with that. That's how, ma'am. And she is the one in the back in the black dress, raising her glass, probably raising her glass to free feels. I'm stupid. Yeah, when y'all were younger, was that a thing for y'all where people try to get free feels when you're like teenagers or whatever? Did y'all use that term or no? Is that just a Chicago thing or a Chicago suburb thing? Okay, let me move on. All right, next up is Wiley. He's only 32. He's the one in like the maroonish type suit back there. Well, he's the short one behind the girl in the green dress and the girl in the yellow dress. Yeah, he's an athletic director, so it looks like he has a nice enough body, but he's 32, and you're dealing with people in their late 30s and mid to late 40s. But, I mean, we got to meet the rest of the people. Maybe there's other people his age. I don't know. But, you know, not a bad looking guy, but just not a bad looking guy. So the first four are sitting at the table talking, and the one in the yellow is explaining how the women are outnumbered 10-1 by the men. And she's like, yeah, and you guys love those sample platters. And they looking like, huh? And then the young one had to say, oh, she mean appetizers. I'm like, Lord, she can't even get the sayings right. I understand. Ma'am, I understand. We need the young ones to help us out a little bit. We need Fernando next. He's in the gray suit right there. He's 34. We need Precious. She's in the red dress. I'll have to see how old she is. Hold on. Okay, so Precious, while I didn't see her age just yet, something's going on with the side of her dress. It looks like it's supposed to be see-through, and not see-through, but just nothing there. However, it's a whole lot of bulging and like something's going on to where I feel like it's kind of a nude netting or something, and it was kind of bulging together. I don't know, it just didn't look good. Next up is Keena. She's 39. She's the short one right there in the black dress next to Precious in the red dress. Do y'all see under Precious's arm over there where something's going on? And you would think that maybe it was just a little bulge or something of her body. But on the screen, it looks like maybe, like I said, like it's some netting or something that's bundled up. I don't know. Maybe it is a bulge. If it is, my bad. I'm not trying to, make you feel away, but it just looks a little strange. Anyway, back to Keena. I don't like her. She starts off saying she's a diva. I don't like that term. We'll talk more about it later. So she says the first person she met is Fernando, and he's sweet, but she like her man's ass flat. She got all the ass they need. His ass don't need to be bigger than hers. And I was just like, no, ma'am, I don't like you. I'm sorry. Because she came on right away shading people and finding fault. And I feel like, yeah, we're all going to do that. We do it in our heads. I'm sure she didn't say that to him, but that's not the first thing you want to do as soon as you're in your confessional is just start off by shading people. That's a little shitty. Don't like her. You guys, so Demetrius comes in, and you can't see him on this picture because he's standing behind Precious, and she's really tall, but he's chocolatey with a bald head. And he walk in, and all the women and even the men are like, ooh, look at him. One of the guys was like looking sharp, looking smooth, and he was looking sharp too. I'm not saying men can't give men compliments, but he was all right. He wasn't doing all of that, but they was just really, really all over him. So right away, Precious steals him away, and she's like, look at me leading you, and he talking about he's the man of her dreams, and I'm like, do we have another Camille situation here? She sound a little off, talking about how he's hers. I mean, I know we play like that sometimes, but ma'am, don't be another Camille, please. She's shooting him compliments first, telling him he's gorgeous. He's overreacting like, oh, thank you. I'm like, he's not gorgeous, guys. He's not. I'm sorry. He's 42. That's fine. They say government contractor, but they are doing way too much over this guy. And I'm sorry. Again, I don't mind complimenting a guy or whatever, but did he compliment you yet? I mean, I didn't see that part. So next we meet Sabrina. She's 36 in the short lime green dress right up front there. And she has a whole list. She's holding up a phone with, I guess, a list of what she'd like in a man. I don't know. We all know, remember Chili and from TLC and her list? Not good to have a whole list like that, sis. But she's a pretty girl. I don't like her hair. I don't like the way that the front looks like it's supposed to be layered some kind of way, but it's not done. I don't like the cut, if it's cut, or maybe I don't like the way that it's not curled, but kind of curled, but not really curled. It's kind of stringy. It's kind of oily. I don't like it. I don't like her hair at all. Next up is Laverne. He's 44. He's a nice looking guy. He's bald with a beard. That seems to be everybody's go-to now, bald with a beard. He's not pictured here, which is kind of strange, but he's not on the picture. But he is a nice looking guy. Nice body. I stand corrected. That is him over there in the blue suit all the way to your left. Yeah, he looks totally different from what he was looking like when he was in the confessional and doing his little walk up, but still cute. He's a handsome guy. Next, we got Clifton, who's 44. He looks like he has a nice build, too. He comes in, everybody's like, ooh. Even the guys are like, oh, he got this Barry White voice, and now it's competition. He's all right. But women starting off complimenting him, too. She's like, your hair, your eyebrows. You look nice. You look nice. I'm with it. It's fine. Compliment a man, that's fine. But let them compliment you first. Like, calm down. The only thing with these dating shows, it just always seems like the women are way more overzealous than the men. And I don't know. I just have an issue with that. So Clifton is in the back on this picture, you guys, with that little orangey like shirt on. And I think it's interesting that he's 44 as well. However, he looks so much older than the guy Laverne. So much older. All right, so in comes Tommy, and he lets them know that normally there's 20 women, 20 men. This time they're starting with 7. And then later on we find out that they'll be kind of pushing more people in as the show go along. They'll go on like blind dates or whatever and meet new people. So when he said this was it, the girl Sabrina looked worried as heck. She was looking around like, no, please, God, no. So then we see Fernando in the gray and Joyce in the tight green dress next to the one in the yellow dress. They sit down and he's basically grilling her. He's like, got any kids? What do you do? This and that. And so it was a turn off for her because she was like, yo, this is like an interview and I'm just not feeling it. And so the whole time he's just constantly asking her questions and she's just sitting there answering them. And man, please take this bit of advice. If a woman is not asking you questions back, she is not interested. She doesn't care to know what's going on in your life, what went on in your life. She's not asking him not a question back, none whatsoever. She asked where he was from. He said Old East or whatever, and she was just like, oh, okay. Because she didn't care. She didn't give a shit. So why'd you even ask him? Okay, and we weren't formally introduced to Joy, but she's 41, and they say she's a professional singer. So next we have Keena talking to Wiley, and she's just kind of playing him basically, like, oh, how old are you? He's 32. He asks how old she is. She's like, definitely older. He says he likes older women, and she's like, oh, you got the maturity level? Like, she's just kind of shitty. Her attitude is just shitty, you guys. Like, I just don't like it. And she was like, nah, I don't like him. I can't get with him or whatever. And I'm like, everybody she's meeting, the first thing she's saying is, I don't like him. I can't get with him. They might not like you either. And so the way she excused herself was she just drank down all her champagne or wine or whatever it was she was drinking. And she says, all right, I'm gonna get back with you. And I'm like, ew, she has 0 class, you guys. She's just real abrupt and abrasive. And that's kind of what he said in the confessional. He's like, yeah, she just comes off kind of blunt at times. And he don't think she's for him. And I don't think she's for anybody. Okay, so Sabrina lime green dress, and Demetrius, the one you guys can't see, the chocolatey one. They sit down. First off, she compliments him first. And I'm like, Jesus. But they sit down. We find out that he had been married for 3 years, and apparently he was a cheater. Surprise, surprise. And that's what happened to his marriage. So we find out Sabrina was married at a time too, and then she felt like a failure because it didn't last. She went to counseling or therapy, and Demetrius is in therapy as well, so they kind of hit it off. We then see Precious meeting Paul, and he's like, hey, you looking good or whatever. My name is P.O. And she's like, P.O. as in, he's like, as in post office. And she's like, huh? He's like, yeah, because I deliver. That'll get you absolutely nowhere. Paul, stop it. Like, that shit is not cute at all. So then we have Paul talking to Ace. And Ace is the first girl on your left over there with something going on with her hair at the top. It's like some kind of bun or something, and some scraggly stuff hanging. And she's very interesting looking. She's 37. She just has like an older face. Just something about her features. She's not unattractive. She's an attractive woman. Just her features, something about her face just looks like a very, like an older woman. But she wasn't feeling Mr. P.O. So then we have Precious over there in the red dress. And I did end up seeing that is just her, like a bulge or whatever. And I swear I was not trying to be disrespectful. I really thought it was something in the material, but no, it was a bulge. She probably should not have worn that dress, but that's okay. And she was talking to the guy behind the woman in the green dress. He has locks. I don't see his name on here. I don't see his name or his age on here. I don't recall them like really introducing him. But I like him. I like his conversation. He unfortunately said he doesn't have a really good relationship with his mom, but he was raised by his grand. When he said that, I was like, that ain't gonna work, because most of the time when men don't have good relationships with their moms, it's not a good thing. But for the reason, I mean, and he ended up being raised by his grandmother or whatever, so he's not like one of those disrespectful men. Because it is very true, some guys, and I'm not saying in all instances, but some men that are not, don't have the best relationship with their mothers or whatever, you do have to watch out for that, because they can turn out to be some really disrespectful men. Because it's like, okay, if you don't have any woman that you hold in a high regard, it comes off real bad. And I know it of a few people. So it's kind of true. And I'm not saying it's true of all men. But I was happy to see that he was raised by his grandmother, and he's very respectful. Okay, so his name is Troy, and he's 39. I think it said 39. His mom wasn't there because she was in the military and spent most of her time in Kuwait. So it's not like she was off on drugs and anything like that. So apparently 5 to 7 years ago, she did tell him that she loved him, and he said it really touched him. Okay, so he said that he's not very emotional, because it's hard for him to tap into those emotions and things like that. And that is what I mean. Something is off. Like, he reminds me of someone that is very sweet, but had that whole kind of relationship with his mom as well. And yeah, just the emotions not really there, and that can be a problem. So Precious tells us that she's not really she's estranged from her mom as well, and she wants kids, but she's kind of closed off from that. And it's so funny, because the guy that I'm talking about said the same thing. He's like, he would have loved to have had kids, but he's kind of scared because he didn't know how the kid would turn out, and he felt like maybe the kid would have issues like him. And very sad. Like, their whole conversation was very sad. So next we have Tommy running around trying to get a feel for who's liking who's feeling who. And all the women are loving Demetrius. You guys, I wish you could see the picture of him. I'm going to see if I can find his picture. I'm not saying he's unattractive or he's ugly in any way, but yeah. Okay, and next up, the women are feeling Clifton. They call him a big old teddy bear. So he got a few women naming him as well. So the two men they were not feeling would be P.O., Mr. Paul, and Fernando. And I can't find pictures of them, you guys. But those are the two that are on the bottom, according to what we're finding out as Nephew Tommy is going around. All right, first to go would be Mr. Fernando. Can't find a picture of him alone, but he's the one in the gray suit right there that the mean girl said he had a big old booty. I don't see a big booty. He's just a little thicker than everybody else, but so is she. But yeah, he was voted off first. So Nephew Tommy let them know that, listen, mingle a little bit more, but somebody else is going home. Women, I'm looking at you. The women, one of y'all going home. So then it seemed like the women were really amping it up, trying to find, a connection so that they can possibly stay. What's her name? I think her name is Joy. The one in the green dress with the her locks are really pretty. She's a pretty girl, and she had a really good conversation with Clifton in the back there. And yeah, it was very interesting. And I found myself smiling at their conversation, so I guess it was good. Y'all, this shit is so boring. I am trying my hardest to get something out, but I am just so not interested in this. But I am trying. I'm trying, but it's boring as all get out. And I figure maybe it's because it's just the first one. We're getting to know people or whatever. But this shit is dry. So the guy with the locks that I earlier called Troy, his name is Tori. He is talking to Tiffany back there. She's the one who liked to get free fills or whatever. And he's trying to get something out of her. And she's like, I don't know what kind of guy I like. I don't know this. I don't know that. And he's like, yeah, I'm really trying, but I'm kind of getting nowhere. So we have Mr. Laverne in the blue suit over there talking to Miss Sabrina in the lime green with the terrible hair. And I think it's her hair, so that's fine. It just looks damaged. I'm sorry. So if it's not her hair, then girl, you need to change that hair. If it is your hair, I'm sorry. It looks a little damaged. And that could be rude to say, but I don't like it's stringy. She should have got it done before this whole thing. You knew he was gonna be on TV. What you doing? And she's a pretty girl. I can say these girls look so much better than the last set of girls. Actually, from the past two seasons or whatever, these girls look better. Well, some of them. But yeah. Anyway, she's talking to Mr. Laverne, who reminds me of an ex, and I think he's a cutie pie. And apparently he's from Gary, Indiana. And then up comes Precious, and she kind of bullies her way into their conversation. Okay, I think bullied is the wrong word. I think she just kind of G'd her way in. Like, listen, scoot over. I'm coming in here. So Sabrina leaves, Precious sits down, and she is laying it on thick as heck. Oh, you get to rub all this oil over me if you help me body build. And I feel like I think we have this connection. I'm like, girl, it is very apparent what you are doing. The whole, oh, we have this connection. Please don't vote me off. That's what she should have said. Then we have the short one in the black dress. She comes up and she interrupts. So Laverne is just like, he's like, listen, I just have this section. Oh, excuse me. I just have this section where all the women are coming to me. I just sit here and they come over. And I'm like, yeah, as cocky as it sounds, they really are, though. Like, the women are really fighting for their lives here. So in the confessional, Precious says that the one thing she likes about Laverne is the one thing she doesn't like, and that's the fact that he's social. No one wants their man to be all social and talking to other women. And she's like, he just needs a good woman to kind of, whip him into shape. And I'm like, girl, you are giving Camille all day. She was just saying the same thing about, what's his name, Demetrius. He's my love or whatever, the love of my life. Girl, you should calm down. They could send her home because something's off with her. Yeah. So we have Clifton and her name is Dakia, the one in the yellow dress. They're talking or whatever, talking about where they want to live. When they settle down, they want to be on the water. And up comes Keena, which is the little one in the black dress, the one that she's a little stubby. And she's the one that came and not introduced. She's the one that came and interrupted Laverne and Precious. And she's constantly looking in the camera. Like, she's just not prepared for this. And she comes and she's like, can I interrupt? Can I sit down? And I feel like they're putting her up to that because she's constantly looking in the camera. She's constantly looking uncomfortable about what she's doing. So I don't think she really wanted to do it on her own. But you can absolutely tell Dakia and Clifton were annoyed. They're like, so where would you want to live later? And she said something like Tampa. And so, like, it was just like down the street. Wherever she want to live, it's not far. And he's like, so you want to stay in the States, basically? This fool says she want to live in Tampa, not Tampa. She said, she said Houston or Atlanta. He's like, so you don't want to move out the U.S. And she somehow, she was very tired. She had a headache. She really wanted some Advil. And he could tell, he was like, listen, I just think she was tired and checked out. And I'm like, yeah, that gives her a good excuse because other than that, she just was looking dumb as hell. So I'm going to just leave her picture up because she gets sent home. Keena, you got to go. And I was very happy because I did not like her attitude. I did not like her approach. I did not like her super just shadiness, like in the very, very beginning. Like, you can say how you feel about the guys, but you don't have to be super shitty. Like, yeah, all right, I'm going to get back with you, and I'm going to get back with you. And they paid her back for all that crap that she did. So it was between her and Tiffany. And I didn't feel like Tiffany was going to leave anyway. So, yeah, glad they sent her home. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. If you are still here, you are the real MVP. I appreciate you. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me who your favorites are here. Who do you think is cute? Who do you think is handsome? Who do you think is pretty? The girls are not bad. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some drama. We still living off the drama from the last season, so we'll see what this gives. But if you have not already, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.